If you're not already familiar what Devon Sport News is, it's a local news broadcast across the Devon region, and it specialises on Exeter City, Exeter Chiefs and Tiverton Town, whereas there is also other teams in Devon which I will be using in the future. When creating this, there was a huge gap in the market in news, sporting news, especially in Devon, so that's why I thought it was fitting to make this. If you haven't already watched the broadcast first, here's the link to do so, or go on Jensen Media on YouTube and it should come up. Here we've got different frames, as I couldn't put the whole video in this presentation as it's too long. But here's all the frames of each segment presentation. So we'll start with the presentation. I got Matt to do my presentation as he's a presenter at BBC, and I thought he's the closest to a professional I could possibly get. So he said all the news bulletins, he explained what's going on, and he introduced each subject as it came. The first subject or segment that was in it was the Tiverton Town segment, which is shown in the top right here. I basically got invited with Tiverton Town's media team to come and cover the Legends match at St James Park against Exeter City. So there we went on the pitch beforehand while the players are training, and we're allowed to film the warm-ups and interview the players for Tiverton Town social media, where Tiverton said that I'm allowed to use the footage from that as a part of my FMP project. This also happened after the game as well, where I got ex-manager on the screen in the top right to do an interview. During the game, I was walking around the ground taking clips of doing videography for Tiverton's attacking highlights. So in the interviews, when they have been talking about the goals and the events that have happened, I can fit an overlay clip with those goals to put into it, which overall makes the broadcast really smooth, and it puts it together really nicely, as if the overlay clips link in with what is being said, it gives the viewers more of an understanding of what's happened. With Tiverton, this wasn't my first choice idea. My first choice idea was originally doing a segment on two of the under-18 players who have been promoted to the first team after Tiverton have had a very difficult season getting relegated. But when recording that, the interview went fine. It was the production with a flickering light in the background, which overall made the quality for a viewer dreadful. So I decided that the images and videos and everything I got on the Legends match is a lot nicer, as the colours, you got the background of the ground. I think it had more interest to the viewers than the Tiverton story with the under-18s. So I thought it was more appealing to the audience, so I decided to choose that, which I'll talk about later. Next up was my segment with Jess Sandland, who is a Exeter City women's team player. And this season, her story has been incredible, really. With at the start of the year, she didn't get any game time at the club and was facing injuries and wasn't fit enough to play. But after Christmas, she's turned it around, as did the team, as they were fighting in a relegation battle at one point. And then her and the team progressed basically equally, and her performances led to the team staying up, and how consistent she was that year. So I thought that would be a interesting story for the viewers, and it creates the project to be more inclusive with all of the viewers, as I've got men's and women's sport within it. Then I did an interview with Maisie Allen, who was the top try scorer at the Chiefs women's team. She's had an amazing season so far, and so have the Chiefs, as they've achieved playoffs. So I figured getting rugby, not just football, would create a broader audience for my broadcast. Maisie's interview went really well, although with Jess and Maisie I didn't have any overlay clips, as I've never filmed one of their games before. So when I was at the training ground with Maisie Allen, the head of media there, Caroline, said that I would be more than welcome to using some of the clips that they have on their social media and YouTube, and so I was able to download all the clips and highlights of Maisie Allen, which I could use during the interview, as if I had 3 minutes or 2 minutes, say with Jess, of just straight just a headshot of them in no clips, like in-game clips, then I figured the audience would just not be interested as much as if I did add it. All the interviews went really well. It was very time consuming editing them though, as I put each video into Lightroom to add some vibrance just to make sure it was bright and colourful for all the viewers. But also cutting, I think I had about an hour of footage altogether, so cutting that down and making sure everything that's said is meaningful and there's no stuttering at all within it, and that took a while on Premiere Pro, cutting out all of the mistakes, and when people needed a minute to think of the answer for the question, I've had to edit that out as well. Now on to the target audience that and the audience profile that I created at the start of this project with my Google Forms. So as you can see here, 96% of the people were aged in between 16 and 34, which I knew that's going to be my target audience. And 84% of people live in Devon as well. So I mean, the whole entire broadcast is based for people in Devon, as that is the main demographics of people that live here, because I don't think people from, say, up north are going to be interested in this broadcast unless they're a football fan as a whole. And then down the bottom, football and rugby is the most watched sports. That's why I included football especially with 2 segments, but rugby as well. But I have no knowledge of rugby really. I don't know how. I know the Chiefs reasonably well as they're local, but rugby as a whole I don't have a large understanding of. But football I do, which I'm glad, because that had the most votes in people's most watched sports and favourite sports. The main psychographics of people that would be wanting to watch my broadcast is people that care about the success of local sport and how I'm wondering how well the teams are doing at the moment. As for, say, people that don't live in Devon, just aren't going to be interested. So yeah, and it's people that enjoy facts and figures as well. People that are just interested on how the local sport is getting on. Demographics are male and female are even split, so that's why with my Tiverton interviews that it's all male, and I think there's 4 interviews within that. Although with Maisie Allen and Jess, it's 2 female sports, so I think I've divided that equally, and I think the split has worked out in my favour here, being 50-50. The target age is between 15 and 34. I think this is perfect for my broadcast, as I've made it quite quick and entertaining. There's not many effects, it's kind of brief. I think every moment within the broadcast has someone speaking. There's not any dull moments, so hopefully that will capture the attention of people between these ages. And lastly, what I touched upon earlier, is people who are located in Devon as well, because I mean the whole broadcast is based here. Shown by the preferred sources down at the bottom, people within the surveys get their news mainly on social media and TV broadcasts. So with the main broadcast that I've created, it's all going to be presented as a TV news broadcast on TV, alongside social media, where I was planning on creating graphics and videos short videos, reels, which would promote it, although I didn't have enough time in the end, so that I gave that up and just fully focused on the TV broadcast bit, as they're the 2 highest there. I think focusing on them was the best idea. My original intentions for this broadcast was that it would last between 5 and 8 minutes, where Caroline said that I need to make that more brief after, so I think I decided to change it to 8 to 10, around that area. This will then lead to 1 to 3 minute segments as well, and a story for each team, which I think I did nicely. Although with the Tiverton segment, I think that lasted 2 minutes, and the Jess Sandland interview lasted 2 minutes as well. But then I think I made up for that with having a slightly longer interview at the end. But with this, I needed to make sure I had at least 2 minutes to spare, as I needed Matt to present it and introduce the subjects after one another as well. Get 3 interviews with Tiverton Town, Exeter City and Exeter Chiefs. That's what I achieved. Although at the start of the project contacts were hard, and I was really doubting myself to get all of these interviews, as the contacts that I was given, people weren't emailing back. So I decided that I'm just going to keep pushing to ask about and see if anyone's got any contacts that I can use. And lastly, aim for the target audience with people aged between 13 and 34, which is solely down to the information that I got from my Google Forms at the start of the project. And I think I've been quite effective in all of these, especially the target audience, because I think everyone that was in the interviews, except from the Legends match, was aged between 13 and 34, and people just love to see what's going on in sport at the moment. Like, even if they don't support the team, I feel they'll still be intrigued to watch the broadcast. Throughout this project, there was many problems that I had to overcome. Firstly, I had no idea how to use Premiere Pro, because I've been editing on CapCut for all of the time I've been editing. So I had a rough idea when I got to Premiere Pro, but there's a lot of different things, like millions of different things that you can do on there. But over time, I feel over that maybe month and a half that I've been editing my project, I feel that I've learned a lot from it. And also, as I've kept going on, especially now at the end of the project, I feel like I know how to use Premiere Pro at a decent level. Alright, next is an interview getting cancelled. This was when I firstly wanted to start doing my segment on the under-18s team. I think this was one of the reasons why I kind of dropped that, because at the start I was trying to get on track, and then I had an interview cancelled last minute. I think it was the day of, so I think that was a real pain. So I think the same day I also reached out to the Tiverton media team to ask if I was able to come down and do the broadcast, which I was invited to anyway. So next is how I didn't like one of my interviews and replaced it. This was with Harrison Jordan, which is another reason why with the under-18s I got rid of that segment as well, because visually for the audience, there was nothing really intriguing, nothing they would really want to see. It was a dark room, there was a light flickering in the back, and the way I presented myself whilst in the shot was poor. I was slanting a bit as well, so it just didn't seem very professional, and I felt like I just needed to change that. So I did, and I went to the Legends match, which turned out to be a lot more effective to getting out the message and news, and overall more visually appealing to the audience. Lastly, the last problem that I had to overcome was deciding how to lay out and conduct the news broadcast. This was from presenting it, where the segments are going to go, and what wording is going to go into all of it, how it's going to look. So basically, I just had to plan ahead of time, like with interview questions. And then when editing it, it was kind of an instant moment that I thought, when watching the big corporations like BBC, you don't hear the presenter in a news broadcast asking the questions, or the interviewee, or interviewer. So yeah, and then I decided that with my presentation as well with Matt, that it needs to be a straight on angle as well. This is also through the camera angles to use, even in the overlay clips, because they all have to be so precise and they have to mean something as well. So once getting onto Premiere Pro, I just understood what I needed to do, and after watching many of Sky and BBC's broadcasts, it gave me a vision that I was going to use to change my product, and I kind of just copied it. No, not copied, but sort of it influenced my project a lot, especially Spotlight, as like all the codes and conducts of that I've kind of brought into my work. My final thoughts on the final product was that I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. At the start of the FMP, I had really high hopes for what I was going to make, and as it went on and I couldn't get my interviews, I was thinking that it's just not going to turn out as well as I thought it would. But after keep emailing and getting contacts, I got all of the interviews that I needed, and all the clips that I recorded on the R50 came out really well. So once I saw the clips, I was positive that I can make a good video or broadcast even. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's formed all together as well, and like little details putting into it, it's just made it seem a lot better. So, and then from my pitch, I completed all the work that I said I was going to create. But that comes like under when I couldn't get the interviews. Eventually, I did, and I got everything that I needed. And overall, yeah, I just matched what I said in the pitch, and I completed everything. So I'm really pleased with that. Except from one segment which I slightly changed, which was that I said in my pitch that I was going to do a Tiverton Town segment, and I ended up doing a Legends match one, so it wasn't the current team, so that's slightly different, but it turned out really well anyway. So I'm really pleased with how that's turned out, and the interviews as well, because all the interviews, not just Tiverton, went really well as well, with all of the people in them speaking on and on and on, who have so much information. So that really helped out when deciding what clips and what clips not to use. Then I believe that I hit the target audience that I was trying to reach. This was the people from Devon. I think using the three main segments of it kind of is two of the biggest teams in Devon, Exeter City and Exeter Chiefs, and then Tiverton, which used to be a massive team and still have a massive support as well. So I feel like the audience there is definitely been matched, but also with the ages that I've used, 13 to 34-year-olds, I feel they would be very appreciative of watching this, but also I feel like a higher age target audience would also like to watch this as well. This also matches with my target audience, as it's the younger audience has a low attention span as well. So I feel like making this smooth, quick, and speaking all the time also links with that, and overall the smoothness of it kind of attracts a larger audience as well, as it makes it look more professional, like with the big corporations spotlight it. To conclude this, I'm overall really happy with how it's turned out. The product, especially of all my interviews, and I feel like the audio and the whole presentation of it is really professional, and I feel like it will be really effective as a news broadcast to get information out to the public as well. So overall, yeah, really pleased with it. Here's a QR code to my Google form, and this basically has just a few questions about my product. So if you haven't already watched the video, watch that and then tell me what you think of it. So overall, it would really help me. Thank you for listening.